I feel like this clock is like 1 minute fast. All these. So me and all my brilliance printed everything I needed for today and then left it at home. I was like, well, that was dumb. So I have some. I don't know if I have enough. We'll see. It's like first come, first served. Yes,
I don't need one.
okay. Are we recording it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So for those of you at home, I'm passing out the MLA guided notes. It's right here under the week 6 lecture schedule and videos in module 6. You can click on it and follow along at home. You can write it on a piece of paper. It's for your own knowledge. So you're not turning this in. It's just so that you can keep up with the presentation today. Okay, and then this, I'm going to refer to the Prezi, which is right here, if anybody wants to follow along at home. Okay. MLA, everybody's been waiting with bated breath, I know, to talk about MLA. Oh, good. Good morning, John. We're just about to start.
Fashionably late.
Glad you made it.
Me too.
How was your trip?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Good.
Just trying to get back on Seattle time now. It's gonna take a minute.
It does. Darian and Inez, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was good.
That's my friend and his new bride
Love it.
and me.
Yeah. What was he, Darian?
It was good. I just worked the whole weekend.
You worked, where are you working, if I can ask?
Papa Murphy's.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool, good for you. All right. Okay, well, glad you guys are here. We are diving into MLA because the reason why that this is such a big deal, it freaks people out. Freaks people out.
I still don't know what it is.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that. Yay, DeAndre, you made it. And I only
Really?
have one more. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
You have your shirt. That's hilarious.
Damn right.
I went to the
Of
bathroom.
course you can. It's right, it's right here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it freaks people out because most people don't understand how to do it. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that, the why and the how and the when, answer all of those mysterious questions about MLA. I do not, I want to be very upfront. I do not expect you to memorize this information. I don't even have this information memorized. Okay, and I've been teaching it for a while. We don't have to say how many years. And it changes. This is the 9th edition. When I was in school, it was MLA 1. So it changes all the time and it gets updated every couple of years. And so then I have to learn a whole new system, which is why I don't expect anyone to memorize it. But I do expect you to give it a shot, okay? I just want you to be familiar with it. When I entered English 101 as an undergrad, my professor expected me to know MLA and how to use it without any instruction from him. I had never heard of MLA before in my life. And I did terrible on that first essay because I did not cite properly. So I said, well, man, I really wish somebody would. So part of this class is the whole point of it is to make you feel comfortable going up to advanced English courses. And so I want you to feel comfortable with MLA so that it's not the scary beast when you get to English 101. Okay, so MLA stands for Modern Language Association. Okay, I think I can make this bigger. Okay, so the Modern Language Association, it's a group of scholars that create guidelines for how to include sources. Okay,
Guidelines for citing.
yes,
That makes it a little more clear.
what's your first question on the guided
What
notes?
does MLA stand for?
There you go. Modern
Modern.
Language Association is the answer to number one. Okay, and when we say professional scholars, who are professional scholars?
Guys that get paid.
Not really.
Yeah. Any professional is someone who gets paid, look at it.
Well, teachers, educators,
Yes.
educators are scholars. That's why I said not really. And so,
Right.
so the answer to number one is right here. Yonder. So you have, it mainly professors at universities, okay? MLA is specific to the English language, to languages, to art, for example, education and psychology use a different form of citation called APA, which is American Psychology Association, and they have a different way to cite. And then there's Chicago style. I don't know who those people are.
Those are gangster.
But that's like engineering has to do that. I will never forget having a grad student run into my class like, quick, I don't know how to do Chicago. And I'm like, I don't do Chicago either, man. So I gave him a bunch of resources. I was like, good luck. So I've never done that before. He's like, you taught me MLA. I'm like, yes, I did. Because you'll need it in English 101. So your English courses will require modern, we'll call it MLA. I mean, if you might use APA somewhere down the road, but for the majority of the time you'll use MLA, so that's what I think. Okay. All right, so what's the point? Why should we care how to cite? Why use MLA?
Hope people understand
Understand what?
what we're citing.
What you're citing, yeah, where you got your information. Right, we talked about if you just say it as a, like, this is a fact, without giving any resources, we're like,
Credibility.
making that up, right? Politicians do that to us all the time, right? Just believe me, because I said it. Okay. So we require, especially when we talked about evaluating sources, we've talked about critical thinking, we as a society require proof, right? We are not willing to just accept something at point value. And I believe that was a point in history that people did, right? They're like, oh, the preacher said it, so it must be true. So things have changed. People require proof now. So correct MLA citations will help the reader be able to retrace your research steps. It gives you, the writer, credibility, okay, to win your argument. It gives credit to the people who did the work. And of course, it allows you to avoid plagiarism. And we're gonna talk about plagiarism, how to avoid plagiarism next week. I never know which one to teach first. It's like the egg and the chicken kind of scenario, but I feel like I can't talk about MLA until I can't tell you do MLA and not have taught it to you yet, so. What is plagiarism? Anyone know?
When you copy,
Yeah.
Yeah, when you
Someone
copy.
else's work.
What do you copy? Yeah, good, okay. Do all of these reasons make sense? This one, I mean, I'm all about giving credit and letting my reader know where I got my research from, but this one is the big one for you as writers. Giving your essays credibility, making sure that your work is considered valid because of the sources you used. If you missed last week, I highly recommend going back and watching Thursday's lecture. We talked about how to evaluate sources, and we went to the library and it taught us how to use the databases, and all of that is in the video. So if you want to watch that, I highly recommend it, because you have free resources as students. Don't pay for anything. Don't pay for anything. You get free access to the New York Times, the Washington Post, Seattle Times, like you name it. We have resources for you. It's at the library database. And everyone has access to it, if you're a student. Okay. All right, so there's two things to keep track of for MLA. The in-text citations and the works cited page, okay? Those two go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. And I'm gonna break those down. How are we doing with questions so far?
This one was answered, but this one, I think, build credibility, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I guess.
oh, in-text citations are also called parenthetical notation. My mom still says that. I'm like, Mom, you're so old.
Parenthetical means being in parentheses.
No, parenthetical is to, it is to give credit to. Yeah, it's weird.
Like the parent,
Yeah,
comes from the
parent.
Greek
I
word
like
parent.
that. Yeah, sure. Let's say that.
I just made that up.
Right now, love it.
Parenthetical notation. Wow, that's a big word.
No, nobody says that. Okay. It's your citations within the essay. So within the physical essay. All right, anything that doesn't come from you, remember we talked about this before. Anything that's not yours, you need to cite it. If it's not your idea, cite it. What if it's common knowledge?
Cited.
Just say, according to common knowledge.
Common knowledge, what is common knowledge? We talked about that way back in like week one. What is
Everyone knows.
stuff everyone knows? Like, we need oxygen to survive. Humans need oxygen to breathe. I don't think anyone's gonna argue with me on that. I hope not. I think I told you, I used to say the earth is round, and then like the flat earthers are like, wait a minute, and I'm like, oh God, I'm not here to like have that debate. So, I was like, oxygen? Oh, there's no like anti-oxygen groups? Okay. So, oxygen it is. So if you said humans need oxygen to survive, that is common knowledge. You don't need a source for that. Okay. But if it's not common knowledge, you need to cite it. Even if you're like, I know it. Like, I've studied this for years. Great. But how's your reader? Think about what your reader knows. Okay. If you have direct quotes, right? Quotation marks, not just air quotes. Quotation marks around something that you need a citation. If you're paraphrasing, meaning that you are taking their idea but putting it in your words, it's still their idea. You still need to cite it. Anyone's research, ideas, theories, arguments, opinions, okay, you need to cite it. When it comes to like visuals, tables, graphs, images, statistics, you need to cite those too. Once upon a time, we didn't have to cite images, but now, which is makes sense. So there's a lot. When in doubt, cite it. That's the golden rule. If you're not sure, should I cite this? Is it common knowledge? I'm not sure, then cite it. Good morning, Molly. All right.
Hi.
All right, so we talked about the in-text citation. Now, what's the works cited page? The works cited page, also used to be called a bibliography. It's a list of all the sources that you use in your in-text citations. So if you put in your paper, according to Dr. Smith, blah, blah, blah happened, I should be able to look for Dr. Smith in your works cited page and find who this guy is, or girl, or they, them, you know, whatever, who this person is, okay? And find out what their specialty is. I should be able to go visit the resource that you visited to find more information. By the way, don't be scared to use like actual physical books. I mean, I know that's like antiquated, but you can, but books are a thing. And they are at the library, and when we were taking our tour, we saw a bunch of books on climate change, and I was like, hey, McKenna, look, it's your subject. So they do have, you might have your subject at the library. Yonder, I can't remember, what are you doing?
The effects on internet
Internet on
and children.
children,
Yeah, that's not done yet.
that's
but
fine,
I'm
you
talking to
and, Darian are doing the same thing, right?
Okay.
That was.
No, that's Molly, who's online, you and Molly are doing the same thing, so you guys could have a chat. Right, that's right, as soon as I said it, I was like, that's wrong. That's, okay. All right, oops. Where did I go?
That was due on the 7th, right?
It was due Sunday, but,
Okay.
it might make you feel better to know that only 2 people have turned in their outlines. So I highly recommend, have you not turned in your outline yet, please get that in before Thursday,
Okay,
because Thursday, we're going to use it to start working on your rough drafts, okay? So get it in by Thursday, guys, get it in by Thursday.
got it.
Okay, all right, so clarification, I did not, oh, Jamario, what were you gonna say?
Have you looked at any of them yet?
I looked at yours this morning and you did great. So I gave you credit for it.
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Said, I looked at yours this morning and gave you credit, you did great.
Okay, so it looks good.
Yep, you
Okay.
have my blessing. Continue.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so, full disclosure, I did not make this Prezi. I bought it from a different teacher. Yes, we can do that. It's called Teachers Pay Teachers. So when they say this is super easy, I want to clarify that I did not say that. Okay, because I don't necessarily agree that it's super easy. I think that MLA could be super easy if it wasn't for all the exceptions to the rules. Okay, so that's why I just want to clarify that if you're like, this is not super easy, it's okay. I agree, it's not. All right. Okay, so let's talk about in-text citations. I had a PowerPoint that I made for this, and it was not nearly as helpful as this resource. So I was like, this is so much better than mine. Thank you for telling it. Okay, so suppose you wanted to use a line from a book or an online article that you found. You want to put that in your essay, okay? You need to include the author's last name and the page number of where you found that material. So here's an example. This quote is in quotation marks. Okay, you see the quotes? You have direct quotes, meaning if it's a direct quote, it has to be word for word, punctuation, spelling error for spelling error, exactly as they wrote it, okay? And then you include the author. Oops. Yeah, it's Justin Bieber. You include the author's name and the page number of where you found that information. You'll put it in parentheses and the period goes on the outside. Stop it. Okay, so this is the way that it should look. No period in the quote, parentheses, last name, page number, and parentheses, period on the outside. All of that matters. All of that matters. The punctuation, the way you write it, all of it matters. If you put a comma here after Bieber, it's wrong. According to MLA. Am I gonna freak out on you? No. But will your English 101 professor? Possibly. I don't know. So I just wanna make sure you know the rules. So you don't get, no one freaks out on you.
So why is it that there cannot be a period after? Do you know why there is?
Instead of here,
Yeah,
because it is including the source. So by putting the period here, it signifies that it's an end.
okay,
But if you put the period here, it's including the source as part of this quote. That's why.
got it.
It's very nitpicky.
Yeah.
And this is where I think MLA gets, I mean, and any APA, Chicago, all of them, this is where it gets frustrating because you're trying to remember all these rules. And again, the things have changed. You used to have double spaces after like double space here and like, oh my God, it was so complicated. And I remember getting in trouble in grad school because I was following the new APA and not the old one that the teacher was aware of. So, yeah, it's very, very nitpicky. And so I just want to make sure that you're aware of them. Okay. Oh, any questions about how that looks? Any more questions, I should say? Does that make sense? So. That Dr. Smith. So for people at home, I'm writing a parenthesis, and then I would include Smith in the parenthesis, and then page 91, if it had a page number, and then end parenthesis and period on the outside. Now, if I don't have a page number, because a lot of online articles don't have page numbers, so what would I do? I have no page number. What do I do?
Parentheses, and you put the link.
No, we don't put, we never put, that's good, thank you for bringing that up. We never put links in the essay itself.
Okay,
Links are only in the works cited.
okay.
So in your in-text citation, you never drop links. So if I only had the last name but no page number, parenthesis, last name, which is Smith, and I have no page number, so I'm just going to put a parenthesis and a period. You leave it blank. It used to be that we had to do this, but it's recently changed. You can put NP or no page, okay? We don't have to do that anymore. Now we just parentheses around the last name, period. And that signifies you have no page number.
But how do we know who your source is?
Because now, if you said Smith, I can look at the in-text citation that says Smith, and then I go to my works cited page, or your works
I
cited,
see, yeah.
and I learn more about it,
Okay.
okay? So this is just kind of a signal. This is just a signal. That's what in-text citations are, just a signal. Your works cited page is where the real work is. That's where you show your
Find out it
figures.
was Dr. Smith from
Yeah.
Lost in Space.
Exactly. Exactly. So I just want to make sure you understand that if you don't have a page number, just don't include it. But if you always include the author's last name, if you have it, that's really important. Author's last name trumps anything else. What if you don't have a last name? What if it's an article with no name?
Article name?
Yes, good.
Or the book it came from.
Well, it would be the article or the chapter name, if it was from a book, because maybe you only used that chapter of that book. Does that make sense? If you use the whole book, sure. So in that case, I would write parentheses, and then in quotation marks, I would write the article title. And if it's a long title, shorten it. Article, title, parentheses. If I have a page number, include it. If I have no page number, end parentheses, period. Okay,
Still no comma though.
still no comma.
Okay.
This is only if no author. Only if you have no author. If you have the author's name, use it. If you have the page number, use it. If you don't have the author's name, then you can use the article title. All right. Another way to write in-text citations instead of writing it in parentheses is to write it as part of a signal phrase. A signal phrase is when you include the author's name in the sentence. Okay, so in her autobiography, Kim Kardashian explains. Who is this teacher? Anyway, so I didn't even know. I was like, who? Okay, so in this case, if you look at the example, Kim Kardashian's name is in the sentence as a signal phrase. So it's not in the parentheses at the end, it's only the page number. Why is that?
That's what page it's on.
That's what page it's on, but why not put Kardashian?
It's on there.
Because it's right there. Exactly. So if you use the author's name in the sentence as a signal phrase, you do not need to include it again in the parentheses. Does that make sense? So you could say, according to Dr. Smith, right? And then blah, 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 blah. Okay. Any question, any confusion? Doing okay so far? Okay, so again, there's no period. The period goes after the parentheses, after the page number in this case. Is that number?
Signal phrase, no, we do not need to put it in the
Okay,
text citation.
yeah. So number 7, the answer is no.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Number 5 was on the left page, right?
In any essay,
packet.
Yeah,
An essay packet.
where's the works cited page? Look at the last page. Yeah, last page. The works cited is the last page. Okay, any material you use that comes from a source needs an in-text citation and has to be in the works cited. So here's the golden rule. If it's in the in-text citation, it has to be in the works cited. If it's in the works cited, it has to be an in-text citation. This is what happens. So you do a lot of research. Let's say, McKenna, you find 9 sources, okay? And you're like, wow, look at my 9 sources and all my research, and you use 2 of them. You would only, if you only use those 2 sources in your essay, that means you only have the 2 sources in the works cited. Even though you did all this research and found 9 sources, you only used 2 in the essay, you only get to use 2 on the works cited. Does that make sense? I get students who are so excited, look at all the research I did, teacher. That's awesome. Did you use it in your essay? No, can't have it. Sorry. I do the same thing. I'm like, look at me, I have all this research and I only use like 1 source. Okay. So that's just the nature of research. Sometimes you do a lot of research, but you don't use it all. Okay. All right, what if you're just summarizing someone else's idea? Do you need to cite it? Yes, it's their idea. Okay, even if you're just summarizing someone else's idea in your own words, it's still their idea, so you still cite it. And here's an example. Why is the author's name not included in the parentheses?
Already in the.
Yeah.
It's a signal phrase.
It's a signal phrase, right? Stephen King is written as a signal phrase, so therefore we would not include it in the parentheses.
So backing up on number 6 that we talked about Beaver. Do you have to put the P, the
Nope.
page?
Nope, nope,
Okay, but, and also not the comma.
correct.
Okay, I had half of it right. And
Okay, so let's look at this, this summary. Before finding success as a writer, Stephen King worked as a high school English teacher, a profession he admitted that most of his creative energy. Right, that's the summary. Here is the direct quote. King said, quote, "I liked my coworkers and I loved the kids, but by most Friday afternoons, I felt as if I'd spent the week with jumper cables clapped to my brain."
is
You know
that a
how the man
correct
feels.
sentence? You can do like, so after kids, there's the 3,
The ellipses. Ah, yes,
you can do that?
yes, you can. So the dot, these are
Continuation.
called ellipses, okay? In grammar, okay?
Okay,
And you would put the ellipses if you are, there's more information in the quote, but you're not using it all. So you're signaling to the reader that there's more, you just don't need it,
okay.
okay? So do you think that this is a good summary of what he said directly? A profession he had been zapped most of his creative energy.
Yeah,
Does that kind of sum up the jumper cable scenario here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's his idea, but your words, but you would still cite it, okay? So, the only difference is there's no quotation marks. We're gonna play a game next week. If, you know, using those, I know, it sounds like so much fun. But I'm pleased. Okay. Remember, people at home, you can always like shout out answers too. I just want to make sure you guys know you're included. All right, so now that we've talked about in-text citations, let's talk about the works cited page. Okay, so like I said, the works cited page is the last page of your essay, and it gives a list of all the sources you used in your essay. Okay, so Dr. Smith is now going to show up in your works cited page.
Which Dr. Smith he is and all
Yes,
that.
yeah,
Because there's probably
there's like a million.
thousands.
Yeah, I use Smith as a very generic, like, yes, there's lots of Smiths. Okay. This is what needs to be included in your works cited. Okay, you'll see it on the guided notes. If you're looking at that, you'll see that you have an image that shows all of that. It has 9 core elements. And this is the part where it's not simple. If that information is available, okay? Because sometimes not all the information is available. All right. You have to use your best judgment. That's why I'm like, that's
Oh,
not
right there.
easy.
No,
I have to figure it out myself. How is that easy? Okay, the good news is that we have lots of websites that will do it for you, so. In fact, the librarian showed us on Thursday that a lot of the citations, the works cited, the in-text citations, it's all done for you on their a lot of their resources in their databases. And the librarians are a wonderful resource. If you're ever confused about MLA and I'm not available, you can ask the librarians.
So on number 8, will every works cited entry have all 9 core elements?
Nope,
No,
it will not.
that's what I was gonna say.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
And how is the author's name listed?
I'm gonna show you right here.
Okay.
All right, let's go into detail. Okay, the author is listed by last name, comma, first name, period. Just like that. So if we're using Dr. Smith again, Smith, comma, Bob, dot. Okay. Bob Smith. Does it get more generic than that? I should have
Sam,
said John Smith.
well, that
That's
would,
very generic.
yeah, which one of those names?
All of my dad's friends were named John, and I was like, are you purposely looking for Johns? Like, is this like you're only gonna be friends with John's dad?
It is the most common name for males in America.
Oh, well, you found all of that.
Balls, they gave.
Whole boomer generation, now you're all the John.
Yep.
Okay.
So in elementary school, anybody named John had to include their last
I
initial.
bet.
that's literally how it was for me into that elementary school.
Really?
Yeah, so I know like 3 Johns myself.
Everybody, it was always Jessica, and then yes, your last name.
Mhm.
My Russian teacher, when we lived in Ukraine, there were 2 Jessicas in our group of learning Russian together. There was like 5 of us. And so she's like, what am I gonna do? Because we were both Jessica S. So she decided to change it, Blondinka и Brunetka.
Oh,
Yeah.
And 12 years later, we still call each other Blondinka and Brunetka. In fact, it was Blondinka's birthday yesterday, and I messaged her, happy birthday, Blondinka. So, okay. We can't dye our hair, because that would just mess it up. All right, so we did the author. Now let's move on to the title of source. Okay, That would be a standalone book title if you used the entire book. Or it would be the chapter or section title if you use only that part. For example, let's think about the readings that you're doing in class, the weekly readings, they're coming from one book. But you're reading a chapter at a time, and each chapter is different. So if you were going to use one of those chapters, which, by the way, McKenna, this week's is about climate change. You can use that, but you would only use the chapter as your source. You can also use videos. In this case, it would be the YouTube video title. Okay. Karen, are you okay? Am I going too fast? All right, the part 3 would be the container. Now, again, let's say you used a chapter from a book, the container is the book. So the container would be the book's name, okay? What if you use an article from a newspaper?
Section.
The container would be the name of the newspaper, like New York Times, right? Or on the online streaming provider, if you use Netflix or YouTube or Disney Plus, say you use something from National Geographic. We watch a lot of National Geographic. Like my daughter's like, Mommy, I want to watch a movie with you, but I can't watch princess movies. They make me angry. So I'm like, okay, I'll only watch like a monkey documentary with you, right? And we're watching a monkey documentary right now. It's so much fun. And so we started the elephant one recently too. And so we're watching that, and that's where I get all my information about animals. Baby elephants, all that. Then she leaves me. She's like, okay, this is good. Back to my regularly scheduled HGTV. Thank you. Okay, so the next one, part 4. Oh, the contributor. If, see, this is one of those ifs. Most of the time you will not have a contributor. Sometimes you might have, your source might say edited by, introduction by, translated by, yada, yada, yada. In that case, that's a contributor and you can include them. Okay? But you don't have to, unless you have one. Okay, I did not say yada, yada that many times. Zoom, do you see that? That is ridiculous. All right. Okay. 5 is the version. Again, this is another if. The number 6 is the number. So if you have like a journal that you are citing, you'll have a edition or a volume. And then same with like a number or the issue, like issue 76, like a magazine, right? Most of the time we don't use magazines anymore, so you probably won't have these either. All right, and number 7 is the name of the publisher. You don't need business words like company, corporation, limited, blah, blah, blah. You don't include those. But if it's like Cambridge is the publisher, you would include Cambridge or Oxford. Little publishing, Penguin, little penguin. I don't know. I'm trying to think of publishers. All I can think of is books. Okay. And then the date. You will have a date. Hopefully. Most of the time you will have a date. I shouldn't say you will, because sometimes you won't. But most of the time you can find a publication date. That's when it was published. So include the date. Or the copyright date for printed materials. And then finally, use the exact page number for printed materials if the location. So if you use chapter 5, what are those page numbers of chapter 5? Okay. For a single page, you would just put P. For multiple pages, you put PP. And then please include the exact URL for online resources. Don't shorten it. Don't do that. The exact URL, just copy paste, right? the exact URL. Why would I want the URL in your works cited?
Because there could be a lot of other stuff that is associated, but not the exact thing.
Yeah, but why would I want the URL at all?
So you can
Some.
trace our footsteps.
Yeah, I can go look at it. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I want to go read more. I can go click on it. So always include your URL. And that's the last thing. Okay, we get it. Thank you. Exact URL. Yes, it looks big, but we do want to. We want the whole URL so we can just click on it and it'll take us directly where we need to go. Yeah, because when I look at your essays, I do print your essays, but when I look at your works cited, I just look up Canvas. Okay. All right, another thing to note is the punctuation. Okay,
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
yeah, notice the punctuation.
Author and title and location are the only ones that have periods.
Exactly, author, title, have periods, and then container, contributor, version, number, publisher, publication date. Oh, excuse me, author, title, source, and location have periods. And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all have commas. And you're like, gosh, why does that matter? Children's very nitpicky.
Really, why does it matter?
MLA, it's nitpicky. It's very nitpicky. Well, in this case, it's to separate it so that we know that it all is divided. But why does it have to be a comma instead of a period? That's not, that's above my pay grade. I didn't make that decision. I did not make that decision.
Trying to work it out, brain why it would be a period. Author, obviously, because that's the main dude. Title, because that's also the main. I don't know why location is different than.
Because it's the end, maybe? End of sentence.
But why would the title, like the title of my book would have a period at the end? That's weird.
I know. I cannot answer these very valid questions that you guys have. I would have to call the MLA people.
One thing I did learn is when you're writing out a song title,
Mhm.
all of the words in the song title are supposed to be capitalized.
Yes, proper nouns. Yes, very true. Titles are proper nouns, so they have to be capitalized. Good point.
But why isn't of capitalized?
Because
Yeah.
of is considered a small preposition and not important. I know, or of. Sure, of is very, very offensive. The prepositions are important. But without them, what would we do? Okay. All right. Oh, I always forget that it shows you. There, look, there's the periods, guys. Everything else is just strung together with commas. There was an image and I forgot about it. Okay. All right, I'm sitting in front of the camera. That's very rude. I apologize. I'll come over here. I'm trying to stay close so that you guys at home can hear me okay. All right. We're on our next part of our journey. Okay. Put it all together, all those 9 elements, and this is what it looks like. Okay? Now, remember we used Stephen King as our example earlier? Thankfully, we're not using the Kardashians. Okay, so if you put it all together, and if you use the whole book, I use the whole book, multiple pages in the book, therefore I use the whole book. This is how you would write it. King, comma, Stephen, period, on writing, period, Scribner, comma, 2000, comma, page 73. No, sorry about that. My apologies. This is the whole book, no page number, because I use the whole book.
Okay,
If I only use one page, sorry,
makes
if I
sense.
use one page, then I just include that one page. And if I only use a section of pages, then I would just include those page numbers. Does that make sense? Full book, single page, clump of pages. So if you decide to use Like, for example, the pages that I'm uploading for us to read each week as a source, you would do this, because you're only using that chapter, okay? And then I'll give you the book information. I kind of feel like I should include that anyway somewhere. Well, I think I do, actually. Don't I put that in the, actually, I think I do include that in each one, what the book is titled. Should bring the book sometime. Okay. So, this is what your works cited would look like. Yeah, okay, we know that. We talked about that already. Oh, so for this one, which of the 9 core elements is included with the arrow? What are they pointing at?
Author,
Author, number 1, right? Okay, then you have title of source, publisher, publication date, and location. Yeah. So 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. Not all of them, just the ones that you have. Okay,
and if you obviously don't have all 9, you can't use all 9.
Sure. Yep. And you won't. And that's why I said I wouldn't call that simple. I would say that it is a little complex depending on each source.
Sure.
Especially the in-text citation. Do I have an author? Do I have a page number? No. Then what do I, it gets a little complicated. I think that the educator who made this Prezi was like, I want you to be not afraid of MLA. I also don't want you to be afraid of MLA, but I also don't want to give you unrealistic expectations. It's so easy. No. Okay. So on writing, notice it's italicized because it is a major work. For smaller pieces, like an article title, a poem, a song, short stories, you use quotation marks instead. Even if you think that song is the greatest song on the planet, I'm sorry, it's not considered a major work. It's still a smaller piece, so we have to put it in quotes. I had a student argue with me about that, sorry. That's Led Zeppelin, I'm sorry. I can't help you, Stairway to Heaven still is considered a small piece. Okay. So, does this make sense, this part? Again, nitpicky. I don't expect you to have this memorized. I just expect you to give it a shot, to try, okay? If you're like, I'm like, oh, John, you didn't italicize the name of, I'm not gonna freak out on you. I'm just going to say, okay, FYI,
Give each other.
just gentle reminder. Italicize watch your punctuation and your formatting, okay? The only formatting I think that bugs me is when the works cited isn't tabbed correctly, and I'll show you what I mean by that. That's because it's so notes. Okay, we're gonna try one of these together, you guys. All right. So. Do you have? Is it using that option somewhere? Okay, number 15 on your guided notes. Okay, it gives you the container. The article is about Albert Einstein and it's written by Andy Berger. It gives you when it was published, the volume, the number, the article title, the pages, and who published it. So looking at your 9 core elements, can you write what this should look like? Give it a shot. Jamario, Molly, any questions right now?
I don't have any questions at the moment.
Okay, thanks, Jamario. Molly, what about you? This is the chat now. Okay, cool.
I'm just
Just want
taking,
to check on
I'm just writing it.
taking notes.
Yeah.
Great, great. That's what I want you to do. I just want to make sure that the on Zoom people don't feel neglected. They're like, don't. I find it pretty ironic that the 2 times I was observed in this class, there was nobody online. I was like, sorry, can't control that. Give me a thumbs up when you think you've got it. Out of curiosity, how many of you have done MLA before or knew about it? Had you heard of it? at least?
Yeah.
High school.
High school, yeah, good. I'm glad. Because not all high schools teach it.
And failed.
That's okay. That's why we're here. We're doing it. Get it down. And I'll show you all the websites. That's so
Okay, I think I got it.
okay. Take a look. Does it look like this? Well, the punctuation has to be the same. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
I feel you.
I got all the numbers at the end.
Okay. So this one is the what?
Author,
Author. And then you have the
title,
article title in parentheses, in quotation marks. And then you have the container, which is Discover Magazine, and it's a major work.
Serious.
It's okay if you didn't write it italicized, I don't want you to do that.
Period after the,
There's a period, the period, it goes after the author's name, the title, and the location. Yeah, and then the rest are comments.
title or the. Okay, go ahead.
This is the chance to fix it, right? And so then you have the volume number
Oh,
and number, the publisher, the date it was published, and the location, which are these page numbers.
Actually forgot the June.
So that's why we do this, is to practice.
number. Comma. Then the publisher. And then the date, and then the pages. Right?
That's the location, because it's a book. Usually your location, if you use an online.
Pages.
where can we-
After the date comes the pages, at the very end. Location, period.
Yep.
But it's cited, isn't the whole thing in,
In in-text citation, what would the in-text citation look like for this?
it would need to be in
It's a great question.
Yeah. What would the in-text citation look like? Who's the author? The last name?
Burger,
Okay, so parentheses, Berger. What's the page number?
oh, pages 26 to 31.
Yeah. So depending on, like, you know, which page number this particular information is coming from, I could say 28, right? Because it's any page number between 26 and 31. But maybe this particular quote that I'm using is from page 28. Okay, so then I include the page number and then the period on the outside of the parentheses. So for those at home, parentheses, author's last name, page number, and parentheses, period.
To write that there's like the P.
Nope, you don't write the P, not in the in-text citation.
Okay.
In text citation.
Yeah, so this,
So-
paragraph 28 is the in-text citation.
What's the difference between an in-text
That's on the
citation
website.
and this one?
Well, what's the difference?
One's a,
What's the difference between this and that?
one has all the information.
Exactly, remember, this is my signal.
That one sends you to this
This
one.
sends me to this.
Okay.
This is just letting me know, hey, go check out Burger in my work site. There it is. So when you are checking your essay, always make sure that your in-text citations and your works cited are, they match, that they're there. That's like one of the most common mistakes is people forget to check. Do I have all of my in-text citations in my works cited? Okay, double check. That's a good thing for peer editors. For those of you who are looking at someone else's work, you can look for that for them. Easy, simple. Hey, by the way, you forgot to include this source in your works cited. Okay. Right. A little bit more about containers. You may need to add a little bit more information about where you found your information because databases, e-reading platforms like, you know, Kindle, right? They full store, media streaming services all host other published work. So if you use any of these like YouTube, Kindle, Netflix, Prime, Hoopla, etc., add an extra scoop of info to your citation, which means you would add like, if I said National Geographic, right? After National Geographic, I would put Disney Plus. Okay, because they own it. Gotta give them credit for owning it, I guess. All right. Anybody know what Hoopla is, by the way? Hoopla is a free app that you can connect to your library card. If you get a library card, which you all can get a library card, and you can download free books, free movies, free music. I have Hoopla and I use it. Using it right now. So, and I downloaded a bunch of free movies onto my phone for the flight. Just watch free movies, right? Just return it to the library. So it's cool. Does it, you know, you can all get a library card, right? Go get a library card. In fact, cool fact that I found out, if you get, because apparently even if we are not living in Shoreline, but because you're a student here, you can get a library card for the King County Library, and you get free tickets to the aquarium, to the zoo, to the museums.
Where?
Did you know that?
The one
The
down.
Seattle Aquarium downtown?
They're redoing that.
What?
They're redoing it.
Oh, it's a huge remodel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Friend of mine's working on it.
oh, okay, I didn't know that. I haven't been there since last
Pretty
spring.
wild.
Okay, cool. Well,
Need to
anyway, you
Redo
get free.
these roads.
They do need. to
They're
do
working on it.
it.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
I drive through Linwood.
The hole on the west bridge,
Arizona is-
that was crazy to me. It's fixed now. I read that this morning. Anyway, I'm just saying that, hey, go get a library card. It's very exciting. So, okay, I'm all about using library. Somebody said that, my sister said, hey, I need books for my trip. And I said, okay, I'll send you some recommendations. And her mother-in-law said, no, she didn't ask for recommendations. She asked for a book. She said, I get mine from the library. And then I return them. And she's like, oh, I've never done that. This woman's old. What? The library's free, y'all.
You don't just go to the thrift store.
I go to the
Thrift
thrift
store's a
store.
good
I,
spot for books.
it is, the thrift store is a great spot for books, but the library is like
Can't beat that.
Can't
Yeah,
do that, man.
you get it,
Free.
you give it back, you don't have to buy it for $1, and then wonder what to do with it.
Every time I move, my movers complain about how many books I have, and I'm like, you have no idea, it could be so much worse. So, okay. Oh, and here's an example. If you want to use an article from an online journal database called Gale Group, we would just include it after the container. You can include Gale Group. Okay, that's what they mean. Like, that would be where you would put Netflix. Okay. All right. We know, we got it. Yep, we said that. Yep. I just said all of that. All right, so this is what an example works cited looks like. Okay. And I'm gonna go into detail a little bit more with a different example, but I just wanted to show you a couple things. Notice the formatting. Okay, so you have 1-inch margins. Everything is double spaced. Okay. And when you have your, notice this might look weird to you, because usually in the beginning of a paragraph, right, we indent the beginning of a paragraph, but in a works cited, it's opposite. The author's name needs to stick out. Why do you think that is?
Main dude.
Makes it easier to find. Oh, burger is my signal phrase for my index citation. Boom, there it is.
Hmm.
So this is still part of Berger, the 2016, this is still part of Berger's citation, so I just need to indent it. Okay, just hit tab, all right, to indent. Everything, all of your sources have to be in alphabetical order.
Wow.
Yeah. Notice that they're in alphabetical order, okay? All right, that's important too. So when I said formatting, I would say like the easy formatting, it bugs me when that's wrong. That's because this is what I would consider the easy formatting. Like the italicized and like if you, that's not as noticeable. Yes,
So with this, why is there no links? Is it because they're all books?
they're all books. This particular example is all books, but I have another example I think has links, so I'll show it to you.
Okay.
And then the example essay that I wrote, Cause and Effect, which we're gonna look at on Thursday, it has links, okay? Okay, so what if something happens while you're working, you have more questions, okay? You can go to style.mla.org. It's the handbook. There's a handbook. Don't buy it. My God, don't buy it. The library on campus has them. You can check them out, by the way. But you can also just go to this website, okay? And the questions might be like, oh no, I have 2 authors, right? I have 5 authors. What do I do? Okay, these might be questions that come up. Remember, if you go to the library website on campus, Shoreline Library, just Google it, Shoreline Community College Library, boom, Ray Howard Library pops up. There, obviously, rules are the exact same in Australia as they are in America, so the Australian librarian will help you, okay? So if you're up at 2 o'clock in the morning working on your essay, and you're like, oh no, I have 5 authors, I don't know what to do, you can ask that librarian in the chat, right?
Oh,
We lost Jamario, but Molly's still here. Jamario, you're still there. Okay, good. Oh my God.
Yeah,
We have to go.
I'm here. It's
Just cut out.
just freezing. Yeah,
Yeah, we lost the internet connection for a second.
got you.
Okay. We're sorry. I was gonna blame the men in the closet that there's in the work closet, but it wasn't their fault. Okay. Yeah. All right. Congratulations. We have done that part. Now let's move on. Okay, so going back to Canvas. For those of you at home, we're going to use the MLA week 6 lecture schedule and video, module 6, MLA citation maker practice. And this is the link that we're using. Okay, so just want to let you know that's where we're headed now. So I'm going to pass out the citation maker practice. In a minute, because first I want to show you all this. All right, let me see. I don't like, why is it like that? Wish I could make it. How are you supposed to? I can't even read that. Hold on. Let me try. Okay, that looks a lot better. Okay. So this is an example of your formatting for your page, okay? So when you're writing your essay, you need to include your last name plus the page numbers in the top header right here. Okay? I made a video explaining how to do that. It's in module 6. Let me take you there. MLA essay formatting right here. MLA essay formatting. I made a video walking you through the process if you use Google Docs or Word. Okay, just be patient. I show you both in the same video. All right, and then your header, as in, it's really confusing because this is called a header and this is called a heading. So it's just like, why? So this includes your name, the student name. Can you guys see that in the back, or is that too small? Oh, is that better?
oh,
Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
so student name, instructor's name. So instructor Strickland, Professor Strickland, teacher Strickland, if we're in kindergarten, I'm just kidding. Any of that's fine. Why wouldn't you put Jessica Strickland? Because then it looks like I'm another student who helped you write it. Okay, you have to put the title so that we know that that's the instructor. And then you would include the class's name. For you, this is English 90 or ABE reading writing. And then you put the date, and yes, you have to write it this European way. As I had one student say, oh, you mean the right way? Everywhere else does this. They put the date, the month, and then the year, okay? All right, notice everything is double spaced. Everything is double spaced. Your entire essay is double spaced. Okay, again, I show you how to format that, okay? In the video. All right, you also put the title is the centered, and there's no bold italics, it's not underlined, it's not a different size, what's the word?
Or font.
Or font, yeah. So you just put it right here in the middle, and then you're going to indent your first paragraph with all your paragraphs, hopefully. And then there you go. Yeah, make sure your title doesn't say final draft or research essay, cause and effect essay, okay? Because that doesn't tell me what your thesis is about. Or remember, your thesis, it needs to reflect your thesis. So, children and the internet, right?
It's not,
Effects of climate change, why people quit their jobs, okay? All right, things like that. Abortion bans, okay? Those are all ways that you can signal what your essay is actually about. Okay, now your works cited page, again, your last name is still there because you already formatted it, so the last name will automatically appear with the page number on every page if you format it correctly, okay? And I made that video to walk you through that process. Works cited is centered, and then you alphabetize your entries. Oh, this one has a URL.
Same font, same spacing?
Yep.
Okay,
Everything is Times New Roman 12 point. And everything's double spaced. And then notice that you include a tab if the citation is longer than one line. You have to tab it. So this one, formatting a research paper, is the title. Why is there no author?
There is no.
There is no author. So because there's no author,
A group of authors.
we don't know who all
The
their names
association and
individually,
stuff.
they're an association. So, and you might come across that, like National Geographic hardly ever has authors on their website. It's like just published by National Geographic. So, you would put the article title in quotes here, and then that way we know that your in-text citation would be parentheses, formatting a research paper, and parentheses. Okay. All right. You use et al. If you have more than 3 authors. Okay. So Kardashian, comma, Kim, comma, et al. Et al is Latin for meaning in addition to.
So you wouldn't list the 3
You
authors?
would not list all the authors.
There's
Isn't
more
that
than 3
lame?
Kardashians.
I have no idea how many Kardashians are.
there is.
I take it really, it's a point of pride that I've never watched that show. I watch a lot of dumb TV, but that's not.
Kim, Chloe, Courtney, that's 3 right there.
I have no idea who any of those people are. Okay. In this case, P, St. Martin's P
Like your
stands
shirt
for
says.
press. I really don't. Ask me about dumb things like, the Love at First Sight. Why do I watch that show? Like, that's pretty dumb. I watched that one. All right. And then the works cited page is a separate sheet. It's its own page on the very last page of your essay. Again, Times New Roman, 12-point font, everything is double spaced. Any questions about that? This is on Canvas. I showed you where, if you ever want to look at this, okay? All right, so let's go back to what I was talking about. We're going to go to the MLA citation maker practice using the New York Times link. Is right there. Oh, no.
Oh, what have you done?
It's signing me in. I don't wanna upgrade. Thank you. Okay. So here I have that worksheet I just pointed out. It's the 9 elements again. So, obviously, you're not going to use this for every single citation that you do, but I just wanted you to be able to see how to do this. You're welcome. Okay. So what's the first question?
Author.
The author. Let's find the author. Right here.
Christopher Lavelle.
Christopher Lavelle.
Is that pronounced Taylor?
Sure, sure.
Why not?
Is there a contributor? Yep, the photographs by
Photographer.
Taylor Irvine. So your contributor is Taylor Irvine.
I've never seen Taylor spelled that way.
Neither have
In my
I,
life. It's crazy.
probably a millennial.
Yep. But like, you're gonna be different.
Parents were hippies.
I can say that because I am an elder millennial.
I had a flip phone. Okay,
Trying to remember, I think I did have a pager
oh yeah, I remember
at
those.
one point in time because my wife was pregnant
Yep,
and they had to get a hold of me if there was something going on. And I got the page.
all right. Notice there's 2 publication dates. Which one would you use?
The first one,
The updated one.
Yeah,
Use the
it's the
updated
most
one,
recent.
the most recent.
It's like on blueprint.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Same thing.
Makes sense.
The most recent one,
That makes sense.
because there might have been change.
Change orders, yep.
Mhm.
Okay. What is the title of the article?
Right there, in capitals.
so that's the container, right?
That is the article title, which would be number 2. Yep,
Title
Two.
source.
title. It's a very long title, my apologies. If you read the synopsis, which is this sentence underneath the title, you might recognize it from our outline practice. It's what inspired me to write my example cause and effect essay. So. Okay. Now, who is the container? Who's the container in? What's it in?
New York Times.
The New York Times. There you go. We have a lovely picture off the Olympic coast here. How many have been to the Olympic Peninsula? No? Have you guys gone to Forks or Port Townsend?
Rode my 250 Yamaha to Forks looking for mushrooms in the 70s.
Which kind of mushroom? Yeah. The
Special
national,
ones.
the national park. Have you ever been to the
Been to
Olympic Ring?
Hurricane Ridge,
Where
Hot Springs,
That's all on the Olympic
Lake
Peninsula.
Bernal, doing the
No,
loop.
you know, Washington, the map of Washington where it sticks out weird,
Yeah,
that's the peninsula.
You can go around Clearfield, across Kingston, and then up around through Port Townsend, Port,
yep, in there.
Brampton's actually on the Kitsap Peninsula.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, yeah.
There's a lot of, like, Hood Canal comes way down in and makes this other peninsula. But the Olympic Peninsula is the huge one. The
This,
whole thing from Olympia to,
this thing, guys.
right, out to, what's that town at the
The
tip?
weird thing that sticks out,
There's a prison right out there,
I didn't know that, but
Clallam County Prison, yeah.
this
Friends
is,
of mine worked on it.
this is where the Macaw Reservation is. And they're losing their land because of rising sea levels. It's also the further northwestern point in the continental United States. There's a really
I
cool
think
hike.
it's called Seafield. Yeah.
How far would you say that is from here?
Nia Bay.
Near Bay, yeah.
Couple of
Out there. It's, let's see, swim is, I think, an hour roughly from Kingston. So you got a
Okay.
half-hour boat ride from Edmonds.
3 hours and 49 minutes.
There you go. Thank you, Google. About 4 to 4.5, depending on the time of travel, because highly recommended.
It's like a hike, or it's just, they're set to do over there.
of hikes
Yeah, the water hiking.
within that loop.
The 101 is the highway. And
Okay.
then you got the cutoff that goes up to Nia Bay, that's, you go out and back and then come back down to Fork, out straight out to La Push and then back down, and you can end up coming down to Ocean Shores. You can come back through Shelton if you want, that way Aberdeen, Olympia.
So what is Ocean Shores classified as?
Oh, it's a,
Beach town.
well, it's a resort town, it's the end of the road.
Well, I've been there, but I'm meaning like,
Oh, is it on the peninsula?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
more what I meant.
Barely.
Yeah, it's basically the end of the road. You have to
So
back
it's
right
like the
to get
coast?
west for it.
Yeah.
The peninsula?
Yes.
Yeah. You can see all my tags, guys. No, because we want to go. Okay, so all of our, most of our tribes exist along here, along the peninsula. So, a lot of reservation land in this area.
La Push is awesome.
Yep, La Push is a fun place.
Is there a
So,
reason for that? They just got pushed to the
They
edge?
got pushed to the edge. Yes, that is
Damn.
why.
Yeah, when the European settlers
They
came
literally
across,
went
they just
as far as they
they
could.
ended up as far as they could go, and then
Yeah.
some of them went across to, up into Victoria
Victoria.
and then up the rest of that island.
Yep. Yep.
A lot of indigenous
So,
folks up in there.
This, like I said, this is where the Makah Reservation is, and they have a cool museum and hiking, and there's not much else there in Nia Bay, but there you go.
Yeah.
A museum and hiking.
If I'm driving 4 hours, it has to be out of state.
Yeah, I know, isn't it insane? But it's a beautiful
4
place.
hours?
It's a beautiful place.
It
I
really is.
enjoy it. I only go every few years.
Go to Port Angeles and then drive up to Hurricane Ridge if you want a beautiful view of the Olympic Mountains. You
Okay,
don't even have to get out of your car.
are we missing anything on our 9 elements?
Publisher,
Version and number.
Well, we don't have a version and we don't have a number, but the publisher would be also the container, New York Times.
Oh, okay.
I'm just curious. Yeah, see, the New York Times company, but we don't include company, so.
so is that how it will be with 3 and 7? Like the container is always the publisher, or will it be
It just depends on, like,
the article?
it depends on, like, for magazines, for newspapers, yes. And they did give you, they gave you this information, not that you need it, but it does help when you are trying, just like all in one spot. All right, so now I'm gonna show you a bit of a tool. I don't wanna say cheating, we're not cheating. I'm showing you a tool, everyone. So you can go to the website Scribr, SCRIBBR, okay? Scribr, MLA. Do we see that? Scribr MLA. And they will do free citation generation for you. I'm gonna show you what that means,
I think I used that
okay?
last quarter.
You did. So I'm gonna go back to my article that I used, and I'm going to copy the URL. I right click and I copy the URL. I go back to Scribr. Oh, I've done this before, so it's like, do you want to use one that you've already done before? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do, okay, there we go. So now I'm going to make sure it's set to MLA and not APA. Okay. I'm going to paste my URL and hit cite. Now what it's doing is it's automatically generating my source. But there's a caveat. It's not always correct. So I have to check it for those 9 elements. Okay, so to do that, I would hit edit. And it takes me here. So the title, wait a minute, that's different. What did we say the title was? Ah,
It is very different.
It is different. So what's the title, guys?
Here's where the US is testing new responses to rising seas, I think. That's what I wrote at least.
Wait, what? A new response to rising seas. Okay. Website, yep, New York Times, they got both of the contributors for me. That's nice. Publication dates. Don't worry about your access date. That does not matter anymore. Publisher, now the reason why it's blank is because it's already written as the website name. Okay, and then the URL, now I can update the source. Okay, so that's why you have to double check, because this is not always 100% accurate. So double check, but what it did is it made my works cited for me, but check out what else is cool. Look at this.
Copy the clipboard. Oh,
Click on
in-text.
in-text citation and it shows you the in-text citation. Now, you don't have to include Irvine. Irvine is the one who did the photographs, but you know that. So in this case, you would have to use your own knowledge to know that Flavel is the author and Irvine was the photographer. And in this case, we're not citing the photographs. So
Right.
you're just citing Flavel. Okay? Does that make sense?
Right, he shows up there.
Yeah.
The in-text only has to be Flavel.
Oh, Flavel is the in-text, and there's no page numbers because this is an online newspaper. So therefore, we would just leave it as Flavel, and that's it. So the cool thing is, once you put in all your works cited entries, okay? You can do another one, drop another one in here,
And it saves them.
and it saves them. And when you're done, you export to Word, and it's done. It's right there. It's all done for you. Just copy and paste it into your essay. Woo! Yay for free resources. The databases at the library also does it for you. They just give it to you after you've read the article. Here's your in-text citation. Here's your works cited entry.
Now,
Yes,
so see how this one has a link
yes,
and the link is after,
it's in the location. Mhm.
okay, so that's where that would be?
Yep,
Okay.
it's the last thing, it's the location.
That was my question.
Yeah, there's a period.
And remember, we said the whole link, Okay. Any questions about that? You're going to practice in module 6. I do have a place where you're going to practice a works cited page practice right here, where you're going to use Scribber and drop in links so that you know how to do that, okay? And really, it's just so that you know, I have a video of me explaining how to do that. I have an example of what a works cited should look like in formatting. Okay. You're going to use Scribber to find the works cited entry for these 4 links, okay? And then you just turn it in when you're done. Export to Word, turn it in, okay? It's just so that you get familiar with copying and pasting the link and checking those elements to make sure that the titles match, right? That was probably really shocking, like, wait a minute, you got the title wrong. So double checking, making sure that it's right, and don't just rely on technology. Yes, Tiana.
Now with what we upload, does it have to be Word or does it matter if it's like Google Doc?
You use Google Docs. I think it just exports to Word, Scribber just exports to Word, but
Okay.
yeah, no, when you type your essay, you can use Google Docs or Word.
Okay.
Please don't use Pages for anybody who has a Mac, because Canvas will reject it. It's very biased.
Got it.
All right, I've had people like try to do it on their iPhones, I think, and then like they turn it in and it doesn't work. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like, bless you, but no. Google Docs is free. Microsoft Word is also free for you as students. You have access to it using your Shoreline accounts, your Go accounts. So
Okay.
keep that in mind. Don't ever pay for anything. Your students get things for free. Okay. So that's module 6. That's one of the this shouldn't take you long. I do want you to watch the video though, of me walking you through the process, okay? All right. I also have some information for you about MLA, just some more FYIs. And then we have a discussion assignment this week, analyzing climate change. Like I said, those of you writing about climate change, you might want to look at that article. And then your rough draft is due Sunday. I do ask that you turn your rough draft in on time this week because we're going to use it next week with peer editing. So if you don't, make sure you get that done. Thursday in class, I'm going to talk about developing paragraphs. We're going to look at the cause and effect example essay, and then I'm going to give you time to work on your rough draft. So that's why it's a really good idea to get your outline finished before class on Thursday so that you have it ready and you can just start typing, okay? So my plan is the last hour of class is just to give you time to type, okay? And I'll be here to help you. The same for the people online. I will also be here to help you as well. So log in and I'll be here to help. So any questions about what we've been, about MLA so far? No? How do you feel about MLA?
I feel pretty confident. The first, didn't we already write an essay? Somewhat.
When we did your very example, the very first writing sample, I asked you, what do you know about MLA?
Yeah. So I think, I don't think, but I know I felt confident. I just needed to know those key points and a little refresher.
Okay. Are there any questions on the worksheet that you didn't get answered that you want to clarify now?
Did you give out a worksheet when I was done?
The guided notes.
Yeah, that's figured out.
You got that?
Okay, we got it.
Okay. All right, so we have about 20 minutes left of class, so I would recommend, if you have your computer, we can also use the computers now and there, working on the works cited page practice or looking at the MLA stuff, using that class time, use the time that we have to get some stuff done. So, and I'm here to help if you need it.
I was gonna ask you, so I didn't do any work from last week.
Okay.
Would you suggest going back and getting caught up or just moving on?
Definitely turn in your outline.
Okay.
And then when you have, I always say I would do module 6 first and then go back and do module 5.
Okay.
That way you're not behind this week.
That makes sense.
All right, Jamario, Molly, any questions I can answer for either one of you?
Oh, I don't have any questions. Everything is pretty understandable to me. I really just wanted to check in on my outline, make sure I did that right.
You did, it was great. So I would say that go ahead and start working on the works cited practice assignment.
Okay.
And go from there.
I'll
And
definitely-
Molly, no questions, okay. All right, so if you haven't turned in your outline yet, please make sure you get that in by Thursday. And then the rest of you just start working on your rough draft because that's due Sunday. All right, Jamario, Molly, if you guys want to sign off here, you can do that if you don't have any questions for me. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that you guys zoomed in to watch that. I hope you feel better about MLA now.
Thank you. I really do.
Good.
All right, doggies, let's go.
Bye.
Bye.
So outline Thursday and
Rough draft Sunday.
outline.
Outline was due on Sunday, so turn that in ASAP. Like before class on Thursday.
Okay,
So today or tomorrow.
and then,
Because you started your outline. I know that you have it pretty much done. So just turn it in.
but I disappeared for 5 days.
I know.
And I was like, I didn't even bring my laptop. I was like, no, ain't doing it. I'm gonna,
It's break time.
keep in mind, guys, the Transitional Studies Learning Center next door,
Sure, it was what?
1721,
last
not
week.
next door, 1721, like kitty corner over there.
Yeah,
They're also there to help you if you know,
Right.
want- and they're open from 11:30 to 2, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So right after this class, you can go over there and get help with them. And they also have help with MLA.
So the outline is what we did on the board, right?
Yeah, the outline, let me show you. Here's the template. It's what we started,
Oh,
rough draft is due by
Yeah.
Sunday.
So that's all I need to do for the
Yeah.
outline?
yeah, you
Okay,
have the outline. It's just basically putting your topic sentences in, throwing in some support. It's your research, basically. And I said, drop your links here so that you can find them later.
okay, got it. I will get that done today.
Awesome.
So what's the hours tomorrow for the resource center? They have it somewhere.
11:30 to 2.
Okay, so I could come in an hour early, because I have math tomorrow at 12:30.
Yeah,
I can just jam in there an hour early
yeah, absolutely.
and work on some of this stuff, and
You need to double check. I'm not telling you the wrong thing.
I think this is the new one that it says 11:45, 12:30, but I don't know if this is the old one.
Here you go.
Oh, yeah, right there. First 4 days, they're not there on Fridays,
Right. Fridays
they're
is
also
meeting
there in the
days.
evening. Tuesdays, huh?
It's meeting days. Fridays are the worst days on campus.
Oh,
Yes.
that's when you have to, you're the only one
All the meetings. I usually have 3 meetings every Friday, back to back, sometimes 4, but that's so much fun.
working. You,
I'm here from like 8:30 until 4 typically. Friday sucks. Not a fan of Fridays.
should have put in for that, get paid by the meeting instead of by.
Oh my God, that would be,
You gotta work hard before you get to go play for the weekend.
that's right, always.
In person. Mondays and Wednesdays, I can get here, I can just plan on being here an hour early, so I can be focused. Before math, I can work on anything I need to catch up on. I think I'm pretty covered on my math.
Good. Yeah, and those people at home who are online, you can also visit the Transitional Studies Learning Center Monday and Wednesday evenings from 7:30 to 8:30
Oh,
on Zoom.
Zoom right in.
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday. At night.
And this announcement, if anybody wants to know where this information is, if you go to announcements, I put it in week 6 announcement,
Oh.
which was
yeah.
this week.
Uh-huh.
It's right
there,
here,
Zoom, oh,
hyperlinked.
PFLC.
Transitional Studies Learning Center, right there. But yeah, guys, we're at mid-quarter, so if there's anything you need help with, if there's anything I can, help you know, help you catch up on anything, or please don't hesitate to reach out, okay? Does anybody read the announcement? Just kidding. Anybody? I post one every week.
Still trying to get up in the morning and check Canvas.
It's important to do.
A lot of days,
Dude.
my computer sits in my truck until the next day.
Oh, no. Oh, my God, no.
Yeah,
After my car got broken into, I'm just freaked out, so everything comes inside now.
right, but where I live, the doors aren't even locked in the house. The house doors are not locked. My bedroom has a lock on it. But you can walk right in the house.
Dude, why?
It's like, there's no reason for anybody to go there unless they live there. It's down this long funky driveway that you
No.
would be
No.
scared to go down in the dark.
Nope, I would be murdered. Nope. Everything is locked. We even have extra security bars.
Everything is locked with cameras.
Yep, cameras as well. We got those all around the complex. But hey, we've been robbed a lot since living in South Everett, so can't wait to move in. It's
How long did they move?
July 22nd. Yeah,
Why?
I booked my mover today, this morning. It's official.
South Everett, not even like Linwood, North Everett's like Linwood, basically, right?
No, Northland,
No.
that would be Lake Stevens. South Everett is just,
That's East Everett, is Lake Stevens. Come
sorry.
on, get it right.
Wait, but
South Everett is where the mall is, the mall,
the Everett Mall,
the Everett Mall,
Is it even still there?
Mill Creek.
like off of Highway 99, basically?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Everett Mall sits between Highway 99 and the freeway. Right there, and then you got Costco, the other side of the freeway, east side of the freeway, there's Costco, Winco. That whole area
Yeah.
becomes then Silver Lake and then.
Yeah, but that's off 112.
Yeah.
I know where that Costco is.
Mhm.
the scary place. That's all I can say about it.
There's a lot of
Not
sketchy folks,
recommended.
a lot of sketchy folks in that area.
My mom said you moved from Moses Lake to South Everett. It was kind of a lateral move, like when it comes to like the danger aspect, because Moses Lake is considered one of the most dangerous cities in Washington. In a
Really?
area.
Moses Lake is?
Mhm.
Really?
It's right in the center of the state, and it's the drug hub of of Washington State, because you have direct access to 90. And so you've got drugs coming from Canada, you have, Spokane, Tri-Cities, Yakima, Seattle, everything's just a couple hours away, so it's, yeah.
A lot of migrant farm
All the
workers
time.
too.
And so, like, guys, I can't even begin to tell you, our campus, Big Bend, so like, here was the low income housing, here's the street, here's campus. I don't know how many times we would have like police chasing people with guns like onto campus, we'd have to shut down. We went into lockdown almost every week,
Damn.
and I was like, we can't live here anymore. So
That's
they gave me tenure, they're like, congratulations, we want you to stay here forever, and I'm like,
No.
literally, like,
Thanks, but
3 weeks
No.
after they gave me tenure, I said, so by the way, I took a job at Shoreline and go back. And honestly did it because I didn't want to raise Mira there. That's sketchy. And also my students would tell me about all of the times they got assaulted in the high schools. Yeah, like gang violence. We had there was a student literally that came to class with a gun in his bag. And I told him to like, please pay attention. And I didn't know that I was gonna almost get shot. And like, he told some girls, he's like, I wouldn't shoot you, I'd shoot you. And then like, they went and told him, and the cops came, and sure enough, there was a gun in his bag. So yeah,
I was camping over there, and it was a long time ago, I think it was like, or in that area.
it's a bunch of lakes, smaller lakes in the area.
Yeah, it didn't seem, I'm normally good with like sensing a vibe. I don't know. It just didn't seem that way.
it depends on where you're going.
I mean, that's
You
true.
drive right
Everywhere.
There's Sun Lakes.
Yeah, if you drive around
Side,
90.
I think it's.
Yeah. You're like, oh, look, this lake is so pretty. Don't go in it, it's so-
To the north of Moses Lake. Moses Lake is big.
Yeah.
It's a bigger town, and then you got all these, look, Euphrates.
I lived in what's considered the safe part. I didn't know that when we,
Wow. I
which was
did not
really
think
close.
Moses was that bad.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's a scary place. In fact, when I was looking for a house, our security guy had joined the sheriff's department, and like I would send him addresses, and he I will never forget, he emailed me back, absolutely not. Because it's like where all the drugs are.
People have been murdered.
Yes, and then like I was reading the headlines, like, oh yeah, there are a lot of A lot of gang activity there, okay. Kind of glad I didn't buy a house.
My mom has actually been looking around, trying to buy a house. And she's been looking in like Bonnie Lake in like Snohomish area, but she said there's a few. Like cheaper-ish, nice houses in Bonnie Lake, but it's just so far.
So far,
So, yeah.
I know, I'm with
I
your
don't really
mom.
know.
I'm like, oh, I could afford this one, but it's like an hour away from campus.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
and it's like you have to wake up 2 hours early.
After doing the traffic for the past year, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. We don't have to do this anymore. Oh, they must be blowing bubbles at the daycare. Yeah. Okay.
Now that makes me think I didn't go camping in most, like, not even somewhere else. Cause I'm
Did you go
saying,
to Soap Lake or Potholes?
no, it wasn't neither one of those
Quincy?
places.
Quincy's right in there too.
Yeah.
Quincy's got-
That's
it's
true.
mostly.
Do people
desert.
camp in Quincy though? Like,
No, but Quincy's got that new, big giant building they just built. It's a.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It's just.
Because the other one burned
Rows and
down.
rows of computers or whatever.
Yeah.
What do they call that? Tech hub or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distracted by the bubbles. Kids are having a good time. I got my daughter a bubble machine because I don't like standing there blowing bubbles. It's too much work.
So that would do.
It's not my idea of fun.
Cascade.
I forgot to tell you guys this morning, Mira said, don't forget to tell your students that they are awesome. Okay. She wants you all to know that.
Make sure you tell her she is awesome.
I will
too.
let her know. She was doing her affirmations in my mirror this morning. She's like, I'm awesome. You're awesome. We're awesome. That's right. Have that confidence. McKinnon, you met her, right? Were you there the day she came to class? That's right. She just blew her mind that you guys were grown-ups. She said, students are so big, Mom. They're not children.
Ooh.
Okay, here's the song for your daughter.
Is it the affirmation song from Snoop Dogg?
The album cover is kind of scary. Edgar Winter is an albino. Him and his brother, Johnny.
What's the name of the song?
Altamira.
I did not know that. I will have to go play it for them. That's funny.
And here it comes.
What does the mira in this mean? Is that someone's name?
I'm not sure.
Because mira in Spanish means look. So when you're on the playground and I'm like, mira, all these people who speak Spanish look at me. And I'm not sorry. didn't know this one either.
Okay, we're gonna give you the short version.
Thank you.
Yeah, Edgar Winter Group, I remember it from teenage years.
That's fine.
I think it's the same album that had Frankenstein on it, the instrumental. But yeah, the album cover is kind of scary.
It's 11:20.
Oh,
Thank you so much, you guys.
thank you.
I appreciate all of you. I'm gonna share. Ooh.